What's up, everybody? It's the Digital World Podcast. And what you're seeing here is uh, a highway that's blocked in Panama as protests are continuing because of inflation and other corruption in their politics. And what you see, folks, this is at some point, people get the line in the sand is crossed, and people can no longer afford um, their to buy food or even buy gas. And it's getting worse and worse and worse. Here is another clip of Panama. You see that there people are just lining up the streets, folks. This is a grassroots movement that's happening globally. This is not isolated to one country. This is global. And the most powerful type of movements are the grassroots movements because that involves the common person, all the masses coming together for a cause. That's how you're able that's how you're able to enact change because when the people ask for it as a whole, there's nothing that leaders can do because now the people are clamoring for that change and they are many versus the few. I've always warned about being careful to be following the masses. Obviously, everyone should be standing up for their rights. But whenever it comes at a time like this, it's almost like they anticipated this would be the case. Klaus Schwab from the World Economic Forum said that they needed to be prepared for an angrier world. And he said that the hospital systems, the food systems, the supply chain systems were all gonna break. So they knew this, and this was before the pandemic. And it makes you wonder about how to what extent did they think this would go. But clearly they had an idea of what was going to happen. So for those don't fall for that because you just don't know. You don't know where it's going to lead. You don't want to be a fanatic. Listen to this exchange and it's unbelievable. Whenever they talk about we need to accelerate climate change uh, our climate change agendas to reach our green energy. What they're basically saying, the interpretation of that is let's grab more power and control over people. And in the process, a lot of people will die. That's essentially what it means because we're clearly seeing that we don't have the resources to even generate enough electricity for the amount of consumption that we currently have. And we need fossil fuels in order to fund or not to fund, sorry, to create those new green energy resources. Take a listen.
So I think that the challenge for all of us now is that no one country can solve this problem by itself. We all have to be able to reduce the emissions. We have to accelerate the transition. We're behind. We're not yet fulfilling the promises that we made in Glasgow. So we have our work cut out for us, and I look forward to talking about that with you.
And they're saying we're behind. Yeah, they're behind in usurping control and power over everyone. Here is your prince talking about climate change.
How many of us feel battered, helpless, in the face of the seemingly endless stream of disasters and devastation? I understand. This has been a painful year in a painful decade. We're living through a pandemic that continues to ravage communities in every corner of the globe. Climate change wreaking havoc on our planet, with the most vulnerable suffering most of all. The few weaponizing lies and disinformation at the expense of the many. And from the horrific war in Ukraine to the rolling back of constitutional rights here in the United States, we are witnessing a global assault on democracy and freedom. How many of us feel battered,
Wow.
the most vulnerable suffering most of all?
Listen to this, folks. Those who oppose this agenda will be classified as people causing domestic terror. They'll be labeled as such. And this line right here is very telling. Listen.
Havoc on our planet, with the most vulnerable suffering most of all. The few weaponizing lies and disinformation at the expense of the many.
And information at the expense of the many.
And from the horrific war.
Folks, they're targeting those who oppose this new world order. And what they're doing now, and I've shown this before. The ACLU, American Civil Liberties Union, claimed on Monday that the Department of Homeland Security has used huge volumes of people's cell phone data, location data, to track the movement of millions of people. And this does not surprise me. This does not surprise me. You have to be alert, folks. This is the end game. This is the end game. And everything you're seeing is a culmination of what's going to lead to the climax. Get your house in order. Get your finances in order. Folks, it won't matter if you have money if you can't eat. Prepare, prepare, prepare. Please prepare. Even if it's one step at a time, prepare. Because what's coming is not going to be easy. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe to the channel. It's the Digital World Podcast, and I'll see you in the next episode.